And yeah, just as a reminder for our students presenting, give a nice introduction or demo to, or an introduction to what your project was covering. Also show off, the key features you're looking for. So API usage, authentication, not so much interesting, but also want to mention what CRUD resources you are using for your project. So if you can tie that into your presentations, that'd be great. But take it away, Marcin.
All right, so this is my personal project, the American Chronicle. Basically, the whole gimmick behind it is using the Library of Congress API. So you could search up historical newspapers from around the United States. So basically, it just consists of this search bar, so you could search up terms. If anyone wants to throw a term out there, I can put it in there. No? Okay, I'll look up summer. You could specify the state as well. So just looks it up, and then so usually takes a second. But yeah, it just gives you a list of newspapers Library of Congress keeps track of, and gives you their location as well, which are supposed to show up on the map, but for some reason that's not working. But yeah, you could view the articles. And it'll highlight the word you searched for. So it looks like it's just a bunch of ads for summer clothing. Not that interesting, but if you do find it interesting, add it to your favorites. And list the favorite articles, and shows you where in the United States they were published. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool. So I like the kind of old-timey black and white theme you went with here. That represents a nice historical site. Marcin, what was your maybe most difficult part about this project as you're working on it?
It was probably working with the Library of Congress API, since it's super old, and like half the like endpoints I'd send requests to, I'd get CORS errors. So and it didn't say anywhere on their website that wasn't like you weren't allowed to pull from there. So that was kind of weird. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Gotcha. So those CORS issues you mentioned, was that something you just had to work with, or did you work around it by like moving your API calls?
Yeah, I just worked around it by moving my API calls. It's like so like when I display the PDF, if I try to pull the PDF like off from the server and display it using like React PDF or something like that, I'd get a CORS error. But since it's using the PDF render, I guess the browser uses, it's as if the client was making the request. That doesn't give a CORS error, which is weird. So I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, it was just tiny stuff like that I had to work around it.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for Marcin?
I had a question. Does the Library of Congress API automatically hand you back the product in a PDF format, and they give you the PDF thing to embed inside your website?
So it gives you a link to a PDF, and you could render like PDFs through HTML, like you would render images. So you just throw in the URL there, and the browser will render it. But the problem with that is that each browser chooses how they render it. So for example, I'm using Mozilla, so it like highlights all the search terms I use. But if I run it in Chrome, it looks completely different, and sometimes the search highlighting does not work.
All right, cool. Any other final questions for Marcin? Questions or comments? I guess I have one more, Marcin. How would you compare using Mapbox to like Google Maps? Was it pretty much the same, easier, more difficult?
I haven't used the Google API, but Mapbox is super easy, straightforward.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know Mapbox is like some great themes you could kind of throw onto the maps. All right, cool. Thanks so much, Marcin. It was a great project. Great to kind of look into the past and get some nice memories, I guess, from past newspapers. Okay, cool. Who wants to present next?
I can go next.
right, great. And then if anyone else is ready after Jesse, please step up. But all right, Jesse, take it away.
All right, thank you. I figured it'd be a great segue since you're going from old-timey articles that we're going to go to. Let's see if I can get this pulled up. Here we are. To more paranormal. So my application is actually called Abby Normal. So for those who know the old comedy with Frankenstein, and you remember that the guy put a Abby normal brain, and not understanding that it meant abnormal brain. That's where I came up with the name. Already I decided to put a little icon here of a ghost to try to normalize it. It's the only cute thing in here, by the way, is that little icon. Here, if you wanted to sign up, you can, and that one works just fine. We could do Larry, and you can sign up. It'll take you straight to the login page, but I'll stick with Carrie because, well, I just thought it looks better on my screen. So we'll log in here. And the first thing you come to is a nice little sign that talks about welcome Carrie. These are abnormal stories. Here, you can create your own title. You tell us your story here. This one has a little box here if you want to enlarge it, make it bigger like that. Simple text box theme. And then you also have your state, city, country, and an input an image, a link to your image here for this. Now, this isn't the only, let's say you don't know what image you really want. You can actually go to scary images on our link up here. And this kind of brings you to, which is another API call to Unsplash, a whole bunch of different scary images that you can utilize. And what we can just say, we can pick, I don't know, let's go with this wonderful little thing here. If we can copy that, and I'll paste it right here, and this will add to my image and bring me back to the main screen. Now, if you look down here, I have some images that I already created. I can delete some of these. I don't need this one. But let's say if I wanted to use this one, I can copy this, and I can input the link here. And you can enter the title. There are scary footsteps. I heard them. I heard them upstairs. And the location was at my home, and the state was, we'll just do Texas, all that, and you can post it to your stories. Right here, this is the edit page. I can still go in here and edit it. This is just to make sure that you like what you see. And you can update the story right here, or you can go back to your stories. So now here, you got your scary footsteps. This is what's going to be shown to the rest of the public. So this is, you're like, you curious? Okay. Well, let's see what's on the other side. Well, here's your picture right here. You got your Dallas State, Texas. I hear them upstairs. Again, you can edit, go back to the page, or you can delete this entire thing like that. Carrie, as if you know the movie, I can move objects. This talks about how she moved all those things here. I also utilized some icons here for that piece. Another aspect that I used is I also went to Paranormal News. It's called Paranormal News, and this is just another API, a news API I got looking for paranormal stuff. So you can just go into anything very similar to the news API or news stuff that we did before, and we can actually look at any article here. Also utilizing the target blank, so which is great, is because then I can just click out of this. I'm right back on this page. I don't have to press back button or anything like that. The same thing goes with these images. If I wanted to click on this, it'll pop up into another area. And then so you have all these areas here, but my favorite piece right here is searching for your abnormal stories. You want to search by city or state. If I just looked at Chicago, Illinois, and I'll press the search button. So now I have a whole bunch of things. Does anyone recognize any of these buildings in Chicago? We got Options Exchange Building. I mean, this is the first one that comes in. And this one just kind of gives you an explanation. These are actually a data set that I got from that I was able to manipulate into a CSV file into a database, so I can actually be able to get these rendered for me. So these are actually all actual accounts that people put, and there's over 11,000. And then of course I would add on to this. And then if I were to had more time, I would probably add a favorite and add it to my own list. And I would probably add probably more options with like a paste, like just having a thing that says paste does it automatically for you. But it's always growing. I even found content that is not only with hauntings, but also deals with UFOs. And yes, I found Bigfoot as well. So, but that's pretty much it. Any questions? And you can also log out with no problem.
Gotcha. Thanks so much, Jesse. That was a great styled site there. I want to say great job styling it there. I definitely want to know, how did you accomplish that turning table effect? Was that a library? What that's I've never seen that before. It was really well done.
So that one was a lucky find. When I was searching up scary nav bars, I was originally looking for a nav bar solution. And then I found this instead. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So this is when I learned what SAS was, and how this is part of an SCSS file. So I utilized that piece, but it really utilizes a 3D rendering. There's actually a library that's part of the SAS that's able to do that, which was really kind of cool. And I was able to work with that. I think it was, I don't know if you can see. Like here, see if I can find it. Oh, I have my other bar up. So right here, it talks about a lot of the icon and spanning. I'm trying to see if I can find where there's a lot. Yes, I put all my CSS in one area.
But
So
this was something that you kind of had to tweak based on knowing
a lot.
this and then writing. All right, that's amazing. I was expecting some third-party library, but no, that's even more better.
And this right here, so this one was, this is where the transform, it utilizes transform and does a rotate 180 degrees. That's how we're able to do that. And it's doing, things that are checked and all that. It's a really awesome, it just happened to be perfect for what I was going for. And then thanks also to shout out to Kat, who gave me some ideas for fonts. So awesome.
Gotcha. No, that was by far the coolest thing I've seen for personal projects, is that turntable. Not to say that we haven't seen other cool things, but that kind of blew my mind. All right, anyone else have any other questions for Jesse or comments?
Yeah, I just want to add, for one thing, that's definitely a really cool project, like the effects. I just want to point out that the 3D transform is actually just vanilla CSS. You don't need SAS or any libraries to do that. You can just like open up the inspector in your browser and start 3D transforming random divs if you want. Yeah, it's just built in. There's a lot of powerful stuff just right in CSS if you want to use it.
Awesome.
It's good to know. That's probably what my afternoon's going to be consumed with, just messing around with CSS transforms. All right, that was really cool. Anyone else have any other comments, questions for Jesse? Well done, though. I'm going to go on a limb, Jesse. Are you a fan of like haunted houses during Halloween's?
I am. One of my favorites was over in Kentucky, actually, with the Asylum, and they had an awesome actual haunted house, and you got to go on a tour of the place of them talking about the actual haunted place.
Interesting. All right, cool. All right, thanks so much, Jesse. All right, let's continue our personal project fun here. Who's next? I'm sure at least have a couple more students that finish their projects over the weekend.
I mean, yeah, I can go.
All right, go for it, Justice.
All right.
Yeah, if anyone else is ready after Justice, please do step up.
All right, so yeah, this is Sheriffy. So it's basically the idea is to be able to look up songs and then get a resource, so basically a link that you can share, so that you can share the music with whatever friends you may have who maybe aren't on the same streaming platform as you. So just to get started, I can log in. I have already set up a user and it'll automatically log you in, and then you can get started by looking up an artist. So I was using Drake a lot just because he's got so much stuff, and it will bring up a page with all of the artist's albums. So we've got, you can go there, you can go, if anybody just wants to shout out an artist that they enjoy, like we can see if we can find them. But yeah, it'll bring up all their albums. So with the album art and everything. And then
Whitney Houston.
all right.
Can you pull her up?
Yeah, let's see. She should be easy. And so yeah, we got this nice little banner art too, which I really appreciate. Just being able to get like so many images for every artist. And so say, we want I see a lot of stuff in the chat. But we'll just sort of roll along with it so we can get this over with. So yeah, say we want to go with Love Whitney, the album. We want to click the album. We'll get a nice page with the album art and then all of the songs from that album. Now, from here, we can actually click every song. This is where I ran into some issues with my API not having a ton of resources. So unfortunately, it can be kind of difficult to get a link. Going back, I probably would have gone through like Spotify for something like this, just because they have more actual media resources. Whereas I found out this API is like really lacking on actual like media. So we kind of end up clicking through. So let me go with an artist that I've already made sure that they have some resources. As like I said, that is an unfortunate complication I ran into. But when you do click on a song that there is a resource for, it'll actually bring you to this external website that will create links that bring you to that artist on whatever platform you actually use. So you can grab this link and share that, and that'll be completely universal, so that, hey, you want to listen to this song, I really enjoy it. Here it is, go listen to it on whatever you listen on. And then, yeah, so now every time you do click a song and there is actually a resource or a page made, it will save it to the database, and you can actually go through and click it, and that URL will be saved. So that way you don't have to go searching for a song every single time. And yeah, so that makes that a little easier. And I have apparently a now broken playlist selector to add stuff to playlists, but I guess that broke between actually implementing it and now. But yeah, so then you can actually save things to a playlist. And this one I know for sure, yeah, if that doesn't work, then that broke, unfortunately. So unfortunately, yeah, that part broke. But yeah, so at the very least, we have the nice links to each page.
All right, cool. Thanks so much, Justice. Could you mention again which APIs do you use for this project?
Yeah, so I use the Audio DB, which honestly, like, it's not a bad API. It just leans more into information than it leans into media consumption. And then also I used the Song Whip, so that page that was actually providing the URLs. So they have a simple, basically a simple API call that you guys actually saw us trying to debug a while back to basically bring you to this page, or if the page isn't created for a particular song, it will actually create it for you. So as long as you have, a resource that they can find on any of these streaming platforms, you'll be able to generate that link.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Justice? All right. Well done, Justice. Thanks for presenting. Always get to share music with your friends. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. Who's next? I know we have probably a couple more projects.
Yeah, I
can
can.
do one. Oh,
Let's go with Rob and then Courtney, if you guys are fine with that.
All right with you, Courtney. Okay.
All right, Rob, yep, take it away.
All right, so I was not as creative as some of y'all. I was thinking maybe more about the Kentucky Derby coming up, and was thinking about like a cocktail recipe recommendation app. And so pretty simple, called it Speakeasy. I use the cocktail database API. So just basically when you hit the landing page, just a simple like find new recipes kind of thing, where it'll give you a randomized list of, maybe about 15 recipes. If you are in the, the crunch of like trying to figure out something for a party, and maybe I've got to be logged in to do that. But so you can search stuff through a nav bar as well as, from the home page. You can look up, multiple drinks. I'm still logged in. So just from the homepage, you can look up all recipes by a certain ingredient, and then click into them and get the ingredients and recipe, so that you can make your new favorite drink. Once you log, or you can, so one of the crediting resources obviously is signing in, signing up. And if you'll bear with me, I'm gonna sign up a new user. Hopefully Ankur or Raphael is not going to hack me by doing this, but just to show you that you can sign up and then log in. With that, then you can come in here. If you're, I was kind of blanking on what kind of other APIs to use. So I use like a blog API as well as get some random quotes. If you wanted to look into something while you were having a drink. And then if you wanted to create your own drink, you can enter in the ingredients, recipe, and name of it. I didn't get around to making a default like placeholder image for the actual drink, but then you can click in here and I'll give you the default image, and then your drink that you've created. And then if you did want to, improve on it with a twist or something like that, you can edit that cocktail and it should update both on the front end and the back end. You can obviously log out, and then lastly, delete the account, which I didn't know how relevant that is, but I guess there are like some accounts where you can deactivate or actually completely delete your account. So that's what I use for my second CRUD, is both the users you can update, log in, update, and delete, as well as the cocktails. So you can delete an account, and then if you try to come back in and log in as that same person, you should get, you shouldn't be able to be let in. So yeah, that's kind of it.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Not a particular comment for your website, but that drink you pulled up that said it had milk and egg whites in it. I have no idea if that's gonna taste good, but I was curious. It looked good, nice vibrant color, but yeah, that seems kind of odd. Anyway, has anyone had Ace? Like, I think it was called Ace, the Ace drink. It was like milk, cream, egg whites, granada. What was it? Granada or something? I forget. Anyway, yeah, maybe you should try it sometime. All right, cool. Great website. I like the nice images. That was cool to see. Anyone have any questions or comments for Rob? No questions?
Is this
Rob.
live? Is this live? Because I kind of need that like this afternoon.
Oh, you're muted, Rob.
No, it's not live, but I can send you some of the favorite ones that I found over the last 2 weeks.
Send me that too.
Rob, do you have a personal favorite drink?
I like an old fashioned, to be honest, just whiskey, bitters, and a little bit of simple syrup.
Gotcha. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, hopefully you were able to discover some new drinks through your own site. It was great to see. All right, great job, Rob. Thanks for showing us your personal project site. Let's keep it going. Courtney, I think you're next. And then if anyone else is ready after Courtney, please step up. Again, we do want you to present to get past assessment 5. So please do so. All right, Courtney, whenever you are ready.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, my dogs just started to get loud, but I think we're good. Okay, so is it sharing this?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so this is my little application. It is responsive, so that's a nice feature. You can log in or sign up. We're going to log in. We're going to be user 1. And then once you get logged in, you can go to your plan area where you can plan trips. These are trips that I've already built that you can type in the name and description right here and create a road trip. And then once you click on one, here is different stops for your route of your road trip. You can delete a spot or you can update the information. And then we're going to go back to the main page. This is a map feature where you can search for a destination. So we want to go to Glacier National Park. You can type that in and then explore the area. And then I have a parks API, which just pulls up data from all the different parks. And then there is this. I wanted to do an additional CRUD, but just didn't have time. So then I just made these little posts. So that's about it.
All right. Thanks so much, Courtney. Do you have a personal favorite national park that you've been to?
I really like Rainier National Park, but that's probably just because it's like, that's probably just me being biased, but I also like Glacier. I like all of them, so.
Gotcha, that's cool. All right, thanks for sharing your personal project. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Courtney?
Just that I love the bear and the favicon as well.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Courtney. Any other last comments for Courtney? All right, thanks so much. Any other students that want to present this morning? We'll probably do some presentations at stand down. Also, I know a couple students have reached out saying they probably just need a little bit more time. So I want to make sure they can present today. Anyone else wants to go this morning though? Come on, don't be shy. Anyone? All right. I'm sensing that there are no more takers for personal project presentations. Again, you will need to present at some point to get past personal projects. But again, take your time. We don't want to rush anyone. I know, again, a few students, I think, have signaled they'll probably be ready later today. So we'll do that stand down as mentioned. Probably do stand down around 4:30 just to get them in. All right. Sounds good. All right, go for it.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yep, look good.
All right, great. So my project is called Ticket Exchange. It's basically a peer-to-peer web page where you can exchange tickets. Like if you can't make it to an event, you can sell it, or you can buy tickets to events that you might want to look for. So right now I have 2 current options. My API is from EDM Train, and you can feed in events by date or by location. So let's say we want to look at events like after Quebec Platoon. So we graduate here. So like, let's say the 18th through like the 23rd. We want to see what events are here. So here's the listing of events that are taking place, and these are more festival based, and I'll tell you why in a second. But can go here to buy or sell tickets to EDC, and here you can see like there's people who posted. Then you can enter your price. So if you're saying I want to sell my ticket for $350, can't make it, have to do some interviews. For Quebec Platoon, and then you can go ahead and sell my ticket. And from here, you'll see your ticket entry pop up. And then you can edit your ticket. Let's say it's getting closer to the date and you're like, need to sell this ticket. And you can confirm those changes and you'll see your ticket is now changed. Or if you just say, okay, I can all of a sudden make it to EDC and I want to go, you can delete it altogether. And you can also message those who are here. I haven't got the DM features working yet, but right now, like if you hover over a link, you'll see an email address pop up right beneath it. So if I can figure out how to like open up another API that will like open up a window where you can email out, that is a stretch for me. And then if you want to see what listings you have currently open, you can go here and it'll show you like your listings. You can edit and delete your listings if you like. And this is another stretch for me, but in directory. So I wanted to give users a chance to like vouch for other users so you know that they're trustworthy. So it's not functional yet, but like if you saw your friend here, you wanted to vouch for them, like you can say I vouch for this person, and then they'll get vouch votes that will show up in the profile when you click. So here it'll just, so basically if like we went back to what we were searching for earlier, and it'll kind of show like Anchor has like 5 vouches or 50 vouches. And if Anchor has 50 and Raphael has like 1, then obviously you might feel more comfortable going with Anchor because he has more vouches. But I haven't exactly figured out how to do that yet. And then lastly, if you want to search for events, now I use 2 APIs to do this. The first one gets your IP address, and the second one returns, based on your IP address, returns the location, latitude, and longitude. And that's kind of what this is searching for, but it I was in Evanston. I'm in Chicago. The API, I thought I was in Evanston earlier, but today I'm in Indiana, and it's free. So I guess you get oh no, it's not. Why is it not going through? My internet connection is unstable. It was working earlier. I don't know why it's not. Code. Oh, there you go. So now it worked. Just took a second. But basically, you can see all the events happening here. And the reason why I only chose festivals as a parameter is because there's a lot of events here that don't have names. But basically, same process. So you can buy or sell tickets to any event you want. You can sell a ticket for let's say $50, and you're like selling at face value. And it'll create your ticket, and then it'll render it again in your listings. And you can always see what you currently have active and delete what you may have sold or what you might want to hold on to. But it's a good central location to like store everything you need regarding your ticket sales. Any questions?
That's cool. Yeah, it's a great idea. I like the kind of design you have here in terms of like the potential vouch feature. I know you mentioned you had either some issue or some question about the vouch implementation. Could you elaborate on it? Just kind of curious what you're dealing with.
Well, basically, like, so I just didn't know how to like get it. So like if I want to vouch for John Winko, I didn't know if it was like a Boolean I should use, or that was my initial impression, but I just couldn't get it to like change over from false to true if I did choose to vouch for John Winko. So like based on how many vouches John has, it'll show like I vouched for him, Raphael vouched for him, Kat vouched for him, and it'll give a return account. But I wasn't exactly sure how to do it, but it was a feature I wanted to implement.
Gotcha. Sorry, just let me to understand. So it was less of the counting up the vouchers. It was more about tracking who's vouched for who, so that like for example, that would prevent me from vouching for the same person like multiple times. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So the counting, I think, would be more straightforward in terms of you can kind of add up a count and add it to each person's profile. I think to kind of track who's vouching for who, that'd be another table that would be like a many that has a unique key, so that it would guarantee that I cannot vouch for John Winko more than once, and that record were to go through again, that'd be an error, and your UI could try to prevent it. Again, long story short, definitely implementable. Definitely would require a little more crudding in terms of another table. But I like the concept in general, though, of having some way to have reputable sellers or not reputable sellers kind of highlighted. That's cool, though. All right, does anyone have any questions or comments for Roki?
All right, thanks, guys.
I guess one follow-up question is, what's the last concert that you went to or you're planning to go to in the future?
Like Jenny Lee and Ivan, I will be at EDC after this event, after this course is over.
Gotcha.
Oh,
You guys should form a Coke Platoon faction and get together.
Meeting up.
Yo, I'll have a totem and everything. It's
Yeah,
gonna
we
say
will
CP.
too.
Where's
Are you gonna have a CP one? Okay.
Where's EDC held? Is that
Las
Vegas?
Vegas.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
very
right.
cool? Yeah, hopefully you guys can meet up and talk about coding stuff during the concert, right? Cool. No, I really like the idea and the purpose of that site. Cool. Thanks so much, Roki. Great job with your personal project. Hoping you get those additional CRUD items working that you intended.
Me too.
Great. Cool. All right. That was a great personal project. Do we have anyone else in the audience that is ready to present today at Stand Down?
Yeah, I can present.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer. Go for it.
Okay, so basically I made a website where you could catalog like hard copy books that you have at home. So this is just like the main page that anyone can view. This is one of the APIs that I used for the New York Times bestsellers, and it just kind of cycles through them to show you a picture. And then I can come into my library, I can add books, I can do it manually, so. And then that'll add that, or I can search for a book. So if I do Harry Potter, it'll pull up a bunch of different books. If it's got a picture, it'll show that. Otherwise, it'll just give you a button. And then you can add it. And that adds it. If you go into it, it gives you more detail. You can update it if you want. So I just do some description and a rating. It should update it. And then you can delete it. You can search for books. So if you have like a ton of books in here, it's a little bit easier to find. So, depending on what you're looking for. And then if I go into the community, then it breaks. So that's cool. There we go. You can see posts, so you could see your posts, or you can view all the posts. If I view my posts, I can go in, I can make a comment if I want to. Going to the beach. Or I can like delete the post or update it. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, I can add a post if I want. Title and description, and then you can choose a book that you want the post to be about. And then that should show up there. Yeah, and that's about it.
Cool. Thanks so much, Jennifer. I'm sure we got a lot of bookworms in the audience. I have a question. How do you implement kind of those like floating menus? Was that a Bootstrap thing? What what did you do to accomplish those floating menus that pop up kind of like on the side from your homepage? Yeah, like the menu and the logout.
Like this, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all bootstrap. So I think this is modal, I think, and then like this is a popover from bootstrap.
Gotcha. Cool. Great usage of some bootstrap features there. Also, can I ask what was something that you learned, I guess, through the process of going through your personal project that maybe you were a little iffy on from like, prior weeks of lectures? Anything that you kind of, got better with or mastered through your personal project?
Definitely making API calls. I kind of struggled with that in the beginning, but also using Bootstrap and like integrating that, but not always using Bootstrap for everything. I don't know. I struggled with Bootstrap a lot in the beginning. So like getting these things to work was like kind of an accomplishment for me, I guess.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, glad you got that experience and hopefully a little more comfortable with Bootstrap. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for Jennifer? Maybe any book recommendations for Jennifer? I'm not a book reader, so I would not have good recommendations. But
If you want to cry, read A Child Called It.
what was that?
A Child Called It is a horrible book that will make you cry.
I've read that.
Child
book.
Called
It is
It.
pretty-
Sorry, my audio is not great. It was a Child Called It.
Yeah, A Child Called It. It's
Yeah.
pretty, not messed up in a dark way, but it is messed up where you'd be like, wow, I want to beat this person's ass that lives in this book.
Is it like the precursor to like the Stephen King It book?
It's like a horrible abuse, like a kid that was like horrifically abused story.
Gotcha. Sounds not so great, but okay, cool. But apparently it's a good book if you want to cry. So thanks for that recommendation, Ivan. All right, and thanks again, Jennifer. A great site called Mybrary. I like the name of that too. All right, cool. Let's continue on. Do we have anyone else in the audience that is ready and eager to present their personal projects? I thought we had at least a couple more students, but maybe they need more time. No pressure again, want you guys to take your time with it, but also do want you guys to get past personal projects and into group projects. So anyone else out there?
Yeah, I could give it a go.
All right, well, let's go for it.
Mine looks horrible, but I'm terrible at design. I wanted to try this. I wanted to try to learn my own CSS.
No, that's great.
Relying on Bootstrap, but it's awful.
No, it looks good. Looks good. All right, go for it, Rod.
So, yeah, mine's is just a movie site. I never know what to watch. So, I love movies so much, but I never know what to watch when given a chance. So I just made an app about that. You can log in here. It won't let you go anywhere if you just type in random nonsense, but I can register it. My alerts aren't working for some reason, but it's whatever. But I can register it and then log in, and now it takes me to the main page of it. It uses two APIs to search for movies. One gets the correct title of the movie, the original title of the movie, and then searches the second one for actual details about it. It then saves it to my Postgres database. And these are just some of the few that I have already saved there, but I can look up a new one. Search it, and then it'll give me new details. And I put a note there that says whenever I search it, it gets added to my database. On this page, you're able to leave reviews, but I fixed one problem and it caused another problem for it here. So I can type in whatever, leave a rating, leave a review, and for some reason it still shows up as an object. It's trapped within a string, so I have to figure out how to fix that. But this entire object is trapped within a string, so I figure out that. And because I couldn't figure out that in time, I added a smaller new function just to get a random movie. So it just takes random movies, wherever is in your database, and just gives you a random one. So just keep tapping it, just keep finding different ones. And, yeah, these are everything I've added, just trying to get it to work. Let's see. Yeah, for the most part, that's about it. Let's see, I was using this one. Yeah, so yeah, just my main problem right now is just fixing the reviews so I can get back to editing them and all and being able to delete them. But yeah, that's about it. Just some random stuff with the watch.
Gotcha, Rod. So the random movie, does that go through your own like favorited movies, or is that like a random movie coming from some API?
Just your own. So
Gotcha.
whenever a movie is searched, it gets added to the database. I had to do it like that because my original one, I had to make a new email address because I guess I ran into an infinite loop or whatever, and it used all my API calls in one go.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. All right, cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm a more of a movie fan than a book reader, so definitely think your site's cool. Again, my library was cool too, but yeah, I actually watched the Batman this weekend. It's like nearly 3 hours long. It was good. Wasn't great in my opinion. Did you see Batman, Rod?
No, I still haven't watched it yet. I haven't found the time to sit and watch it.
Gotcha. Yeah, again, 3 hour movie, not easy to squeeze into like a single night. But all right, cool. Definitely like the movie theme and great job again learning raw CSS and just practice that. I applaud that as well, Rod. So all right, cool. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Rod? All right, does anyone have any question or any recommendations for Rod that is not a movie that's going to make you cry? It's really, you got a book rec for that. Any good movie recs? Off the wall, nothing that we've all heard of.
The Labyrinth.
The
Classic.
Labyrinth.
Not Pan's Labyrinth, that's
Okay.
different.
Gotcha.
Labyrinth with
Is that a
David
newer?
Bowie.
Is that a newer
Older.
movie or older?
Now, I always say, if you haven't watched it, always watch the classics. Donnie Darko, The Labyrinth, and Neverending Story are like my top. Oh, and The Craft. That's always
Gotcha. I have seen Pan's Labyrinth, but I've not seen Labyrinth. All right, cool. Thanks for that recommendation, Jesse. Thank you for sharing your personal project, Rod. Look good. Yeah, hopefully you guys all will have more time to watch movies and such once you guys graduate in less than 2 weeks, which is exciting. All right, I see some fist pumps. That sounds great. All right, anyone else? Keep them coming. I enjoy seeing your personal projects. I'm sure the class does as well. So do we have anyone else that is ready to present today at Stand Down? Going once, going twice. All right, I guess that means we can look forward to more personal projects later on this week if we have no more presentations today. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Take it away, G-Dun.
Cool. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Great. Yeah, so my website is to the purpose is for raise money for cats specifically. So it's like a charity website, and so yeah, there's a login function. I still have some issue with the login, but I'll figure it out before Friday. So here is a list of items that you can help the animal with. Like for example, Joey, he's a cat and he needs vaccination. So so the reason that I'm listing out like each item separately is that I feel that when people are making donations, instead of just like giving out a certain amount of money, it's probably more helpful if they can actually see what type of help that they're giving out to. So if they can specifically see, okay, this amount of money goes to medication, this amount of money goes to food, then they can just, based on how much they're willing to help, they can choose the different types that they want. And so here you can add like different amount of each item, and then you can add them to the cart. And here you can see the card numbers changing. And so this is a card. The card you can see each item that you have added, and you can also adjust how many you're willing to help. So you can, and then you can place order by clicking here. And then, so this part pretty much is a, well, in real life, you'll be putting in your name, street, and credit card information. So here, let me see. Okay, so if you click confirm, it's not allowing you to do so. So you have to put in the information. So if you say Sally and 123 Main Street, and here is the postal code. And city, I'll just say New York. And then you can confirm your order. And you can see that it's successfully sent. And so yeah, so this is the items that you can help. And this part is showing that if certain animal is available for adoption. So here, this is the date that that they will be available for adoption. Here's a name, and here is a short description of story. And if people do want to adopt a certain animal, they could click here for apply for adoption. But this one form I haven't made yet. But and here is a for institution or individual, if they want to add a certain animal in the list for adoption, they could put in their animal's name and their own zip code. Because one of the future function I would like to do is to be able to show a map, like what types of animal is near you available for adoption. So that way people will be able to have access to those animals easier. And so yeah, here you can put in the information. Here you can choose the date for available for adoption. And then this part is the API. So relax and generate a cute cat picture. So you can just click here, and then you can generate like random cat pictures. Oh, and so yeah, that's pretty much it. And there is definitely some more additional function I'm currently working on. So I'm trying to hopefully be able to get more function done before the end of our cohort. So, and that's it. Is there any questions?
Gotcha. Yeah, Jinan, thanks so much. I am a cat fan, so great to see a cat-centric site. I think it's really cool, or like just like a really good idea to have donations based on actual, things that the pets need. I think I've not seen that, across other donation sites. Maybe they exist, but I like the idea of kind of like, they have wedding registries. So this is kind of like a donation registry where like, all right, there's specific things and you can contribute to something real versus like, Red Cross, great organization. But if I'm donating $100 to Red Cross, I'm not quite sure what they're doing with it. I'm sure they're going to do something good with it, but it's good to know more specifically what they're doing. So I think that's great way you kind of design that. I think that makes it much more real when you're donating. So great job there. That's something, I've talked about with other teams for group projects. Like, your idea might have been done before, but just do it a different way or a better way. So like, travel sites, we've seen travel sites, but, what's something that no other travel site has done. So this is, I think, a good example. Like, I don't think I've seen this. Maybe others have, but itemized donation seems really cool. Gina, you mentioned APIs. You're using one API for your cat pictures. Do you have a second API that you're using for in your site?
Yeah, I was trying to use a second API when I was checking out. I was trying to use a PayPal API when I'm try to work with my card, but I was not able to make it work so far, but I think I'll have to do more research on how to make that work.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. But yeah, great site. Thanks for showing it off. And you own 2 cats, right?
Yes, I do.
Gotcha. Can you remind us what their names were? I forgot.
Yeah, their names are Aluka and Kilua. So I'm a huge Hunter x Hunter fan. So they're like the 2 characters from the Japanese anime. So.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Jidan? All right, I'll ask you one more question, Jidan. What was your, I guess, if you had to pinpoint something or a few items, what would you say you learned as going through your personal project that you were kind of rusty on going through, lecture days? Did you get better with React, better with Django, anything in particular, like, you spent a lot of time on, but got a lot of knowledge out of it?
Yeah, I definitely become more comfortable with React. And because I feel like when I was in the learning process in doing Code Platoon, I feel like I had a better grasp on the Django part, but React, I feel like it's just it's not as intuitive to me as Django. So I definitely spend actually like the largest portion of my time to my personal project is actually reviewing and also in some way teach myself again how to use React to be able to make it work. It's definitely a very definitely a very good learning process.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm glad you took the extra time, and yeah, that's kind of what we intend for personal projects, just to learn more from what we introduced, weeks ago. All right, cool. Jidan, thanks so much for showing us your personal project. Looks great. Hopefully, cats in need can get their donations. All right, next up, let's go over to Max. Max, you ready to present?
Okay, yeah, let me share screen. Which one is it? This one. Okay. All right, do you see an incognito screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, fresh incognito window, so you get the full login experience here. Okay, I'm going to, so this is just for our Code Platoon slackers. All right, find the workspace. And I'll get that. Okay, QLD HBI. All right. All right, it takes about 15 to 20 seconds to get all the messages from Slack. Unfortunately, like there's a way you could just get new messages. I store the messages in a database, but in order to get the replies to messages, like how many replies there were, who made them, emojis, the only way is to retrieve all the messages. So all right, so there we have Slack stats. And if those of you saw my week 5 backend API project, you'll recognize the top 5 lists. Except now it's a little fancier. You got pictures of people from Slack, and so you can now also change each the channel of the 3 channels that you want to see. So top 5 posters and memes, but now you can say, okay, top 5 in the Quebec channel. And no surprise, Anchor has the most posts there. Who has the most responses to memes, in case you want to know that. And let's see. So then we have, you change the width of these, and everything's credited every time you change something. It's saved, so you log out, you log back in, and I'd say I have 3 width options. So this one's a medium that'll fit 3 per page. Yeah, we can make it small. We can make it large. That'll push this one off the page. And we can, and then new items, I made the charts. So it's, so let's make that large. So the average number of posts per day of the week is for all posts. So you can see a lot of posts on Fridays. And yeah, we can, we can move that to the first spot. And then let's see, I also have a chart of the responses. No surprise that follows the posts. When there's a lot of posts, there's a lot of responses. And you can look, okay, how about memes? Well, a lot of memes on Fridays. Responses to memes, also the same. And let's see. And then we just had random cat pictures. Perhaps you want, a dashboard item with a dog. So you get a random dog picture, and that is also credited. So let's move the dog to well, let's make him big, and we'll move him to the number 2 spot here. And so if we log out, and we should see everything this time. So I'm already logged in on this page, so I won't have to go through the whole login. Logged into Slack, that is. Just need to pull in all the messages again. Just getting there. Oh, come on, API. I should have an update because I pull in 200 messages at a time. So I realize I can actually, that's something I want to do to give people an update, like on how many messages as they come in. Yep, so there it is. Everything's saved just like you had it before. And, get a new dog. Oh, make this small. And there you have it. Yeah.
That is awesome, Max. I think I didn't realize you're spying on our messages there. But no, it's really cool to see the stats. I guess I'm just surprised by some of the stats. I feel like Fridays for me usually seem like less activity, but I guess there might be. I guess I'm not in the memes channel, so I don't know if the memes channel is blowing up on Fridays or something. But,
yeah, it's probably what it is.
Yeah,
let's see.
Can we figure that out?
Yeah, the Quebec channel, it's pretty.
Gotcha. But it does spike a little bit on Friday too. All right. That's okay. Yeah, great to see data that way. So.
Yeah. Oh, and also I worked a lot to calculate the date for the last Sunday because I only wanted to include complete weeks. So I definitely need to get this. I hope to put this, make it publicly accessible. And I'm excited to see if it works. So on Monday morning at midnight, this should change to whatever next Sunday's date is. So.
Gotcha.
Something to look forward to.
That's very cool. I think I saw someone message in the Zoom chat. If you can make this, if you can deploy this, I'd love to kind of mess around with it and just see some stats based on our last 14 weeks together.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Now that I know what I'm doing, I want to add more as well.
Yeah, I want to ask. So what did you use for like the positioning and like, you have a really nice setup, really nice look, but like the ordering and the sizing, was that all done by hand? Did you use some third-party library for it? Just curious what you did.
This is just using in the Flex, the CSS Flex has an order attribute. And so all you do is if you just change the order attribute in something that's in a Flex container, and it changes the order that it displays it in. And these are all bootstrap cards. Like, oh my God, I see everything. The whole world is cards to me now. that you guys have shown me Bootstrap. I see everything is cards, and every container I see is divided into 12 columns, just like a flex grid.
Gotcha. But no, again, I really like the organization and just like the, how intuitive it is to use your interface here. I guess one question I have for you, how difficult would it be for you as a developer? And then secondary question, me as a user to kind of add custom filters. Like I know you have a few channels here, like Quebec questions channel, meme channel. How easy would it be for you to tie another channel and then also give that capability to the user saying, hey, I just joined this new channel for my group chat, and I want to see the stats on it for the last few weeks. Like if you had to kind of talk about how easy or not easy that would be to provide.
I think now that I'm starting to get comfortable with React, that was a big block for me. Django spoke to me, Bootstrap spoke to me, React, it took a while to speak to me. But I think it wouldn't be bad because I'm starting to understand the benefits of React. Like, so I make, these are cards, Bootstrap cards, but some of them, like the header. So the header is a separate component, and the ellipse part is a component. This is the way I should do it. I haven't done it yet because I just wanted to get it on there. So like, I have files that are way too big where I put too much in one component. I need to break it down. But I think that's the key. If you break things down to small components, I think that takes a little work, but then it'll become much easier to add things. Like I should make this ellipse should be a component. This part of the header with the channel selector should be a component, because then like for the doggy card, I would pull in the header and I would just use the ellipsis part for the header, but not the channel selector. Things like that. So it's starting to make sense to me. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, glad you were able to kind of get better with React. But cool. I really love your site. Just the way, again, it's intuitive and feels welcoming to the user. And it's cool to see stats. Again, stats in themselves are pretty boring. There's numbers, but the way you present them. So again, I've talked to groups about this. Like find cool ways to present your data, and that's going to engage the user. All right, cool. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Max here?
All right.
All right, great job, Max. Really cool site.
Thanks.
All right, let's keep it going. If we have any other presenters out there, is anyone else ready to present their personal projects today?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay, and then Adam, I see you unmute. Or would you be willing to go after Andrew?
Yeah, I can go after.
All right, cool.
I have one question though. Like if I play audio on my computer speakers, will like my computer's microphone pick it up, or will it get filtered out?
No, it should pick it up. It shouldn't be too bad. We'll let you know if it's inaudible, but yeah,
Okay.
it should be fine if you play it like in a medium volume.
Okay. All right. Then we will go.
But is that going to work with your headphones? I don't know how you go through.
So my headphones are actually not plugged in because I realized like it wouldn't work.
Gotcha.
But I'm wearing them because I'm gonna like immediately put them back on.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, so my project here is called Time Machine. I believe I've kind of like demoed this landing page before. Got this like cool little library that I found to do some hover effects on images. So basically the concept of the site is to try to like emulate as closely as possible what it might be like to be able to like talk to people who are dead, essentially. Introduce this little about page where I'm gonna go, I haven't filled this out completely yet, but I'm gonna talk about more kind of like a blog post almost, where I'm talking about like the technologies that I used and like the lessons learned and everything from doing this. got sign up page, and I already have an account that I'd like to use. Got JWT authentication working and some demo data in here. So upon logging in, this is like your dashboard page. The AI representations of like the historical figures, I am using the term like avatars. And most of the avatars that I have, well, all of the avatars that I have here right now are just like either historical writers or like philosophers whose work that I've enjoyed and thought it might be interesting to, you know, try to emulate chats with them. So there's two main portions of this. Learn more will take you and just like, you know, give a little more information. But the main portion here, conversations, this will pull all of the conversation history that's associated with your user account. Here, just like a quick little card, this will link to the copy of the full conversation. Can pull up a little menu here, toggle to add conversations to favorites. I still haven't added filtering based upon that, but that is something that I'm planning on doing. And then you can also like delete conversations out of your history here. So for example, open up a conversation history. This is, I've kind of like pre-populated like some conversations with some of these figures here. I'll try to play some of the audio here. So human represents my input to the AI, and then this is the AI's response, which is then dynamically like passed in to a text-to-speech neural network that kind of generates somewhat realistically sounding voice. I'm going to go ahead and try to play it right now.
I was born in 1894 into a very eminent Victorian family. My grandfather was the great scientist, Thomas Henry Huxley, who was one of the chief proponents of Darwin's theory.
Yeah, so that's just, I have different voices configured for each of the different figures. And I just kind of pre-populated this morning to try to get like some interesting output that I could potentially show off here. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the conversation, then you have your input form here, where you can go ahead and ask anything. So does anyone have a suggestion of something that I should type or ask?
Can you ask Huxley if he likes dogs or cats?
Sure.
I know a lot of these responses might not be direct, but curious what they'll say. I'm sure they had dogs and cats back then.
All right. Submit. It does take a couple of seconds to generate the response. Here it is. So his response here, dogs without a doubt. I have always been a great lover of dogs and had many wonderful experiences with them throughout my life. They are such loyal and loving companions, and I can't imagine living without one, which is interesting.
Could we, sorry, I know I'm asking for a lot.
Without a doubt. I have always been a great lover of dogs and have had many wonderful experiences with them throughout my life. They are such loyal and loving companions, and I can't imagine living without one.
Could we ask the same question to another member? Sorry, I feel like I'm taking away from your presentation, but just curious what other AIs would say the same question.
Oh yeah, sure. I don't know. Yeah, so I actually did not have like a whole bunch of time to kind of like fine tune these models, because usually what you end up having to do is provide like, I don't know, I'd say like hundreds of to like thousands of different examples to like get it very fine tuned to like the exact personality that you want, but I didn't really think that was like a good use of time to focus on at the moment. So we'll go ahead and talk to Marcus Aurelius, who was a Stoic philosopher and one of the last 5 of like the good Roman emperors.
And then as you're typing it, I'm just curious, did you find that you had to format your question in a certain way to get a more ideal response?
Yeah, there's actually a lot that goes. So there's a lot that is getting passed as input to the AI model here that is invisible to the user in order to, yeah, it's like very particular how you have to like format everything. There's a lot of complexity on the back end of how this has to work, especially with.
I prefer dogs because they are more loyal and affectionate than cats.
Previous example, when you look up at the night sky.
When I look up at the night sky, I am reminded of the vastness of the universe and my place within it. I am also reminded of the impermanence of everything, including myself. The stars will one day burn out, and the universe will come to an end, but the principles of Stoicism will endure.
So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so basically my goal here is to basically just continually, so I had a feature initially where I was allowing users who were logged in to kind of like add custom avatars depending on like who they might want to talk to. But I initially planned to kind of like deploy this application publicly, and there are a lot of restrictions on this particular AI API in order to prevent misuse. So there's like a pretty stringent like code review process that you have to go through to get deployment approval. And one of the things is you absolutely cannot let users enter custom prompts like from the start. So I had to like kind of like backtrack and like redo a lot of my backend logic here. But realistically speaking, I'm probably not going to anyway, because this API does cost like money to use. So I'd have to like charge users in order to make it feasible. But I am going to like continue building this out like for my own entertainment purposes. And I did realize recently that like the way that I approached this to kind of like, it's not quite like real-time streaming back and forth, which would be like the ideal case. I kind of like duct tape rigged it together using like a series of like really deeply nested writable serializers that I had to like hack together. But towards the end of when I was developing this, I came across a whole bunch of other resources that are like ideal and purpose made for this kind of thing, like the web audio API, WebRTC, Django channels, WebSockets, stuff like that. When I started like this project, I really didn't know, like, I didn't really have a good understanding of like the problem domain or anything. I just had like a wild idea and I was like, yep, I'm just gonna like run with it and see what I can accomplish. So yeah. But yeah, that is more or less it. There's a bunch of different users in here and everyone has like their own conversations associated with them. And yeah.
That is awesome, Andrew. That was really cool to see. Again, great UI and great, really cool project there. Could you just, for the audience, could you mention the 2 APIs you used? Because I think these are really cool APIs.
Yeah, so the main like AI API that's generating that's able to kind of like simulate the personalities and generate the output is called GPT-3 by OpenAI. You can do a lot of really, really cool stuff with it. It's actually, if you guys have heard of Github Copilot, the GitHub's like thing that they're going to be launching pretty soon, where it can basically kind of like write code for you automatically. It's based on GPT-3 as well. And I have tested it out for that purpose. I have like just ran completion commands where I was just like, oh, write a functional like React component that does like blah, 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 like just like a simple English sentence. And then it just knocks it out. Or I'd be like, write a like binary search arrow function. And then it just like knocks it out perfectly. So it can do an awful lot of stuff, and it's really cool. The other API that I'm using is Amazon Poly, which is part of the AWS API services, specifically the Python SDK wrapper, which is called Boto 3. And that's basically just to use their neural text-to-speech generator. Pretty cool stuff. It does support real-time streaming, but the front-end interface that I have was not really able to support that. But yeah, that's definitely something. I'm basically going to end up kind of like re-architecting this whole thing to use like some of the stuff that I mentioned earlier that's more suited for like the real-time streaming interactions back and forth.
Gotcha. You mentioned that one or both your APIs were not free. Was it the AI or the text-to-speech that had it cost?
So the AWS Poly is free if you're on your if you're still in your free tier, like your first year of your AWS account, it's free. And then after that, I think it's actually still pretty cheap after that. I think you can get like 100,000 characters like synthesized for like 10 cents or something like that. So it's like, that one's not too bad. The OpenAI one is a little bit pricier, but they have a bunch of different models that are like better at different things. So some of them are pretty cheap. But when you sign up, so you have to like apply for access to an API key. And if you get accepted, and they give you like $18 in free credit, which throughout my entire time of like testing out and developing this project and running my examples, I think I only ended up using like probably like $7 or $8 out of that limit. So it's not too bad. It's just, yeah.
Okay, cool. Again, amazing project here. Definitely cool to see some AI interaction. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Andrew?
Yeah, I have a quick question about how are you like a lot of the famous ones about asking about their book and all that stuff. Is that something that you had to put that in, or is that something that they just pull from the web, or how did that work with your API?
So I didn't have to like tell them it. So basically what I entered in the back end was setting up kind of like a chat format. So like the raw prompt is something like, for example, with like Aldous Huxley, it's like the following is a conversation with Aldous Huxley, and then basically like describe a little bit about he's eager to provide stories from his life and insights onto his work. So all the programming of GPT-3 takes place in natural English language. They refer it as like prompt programming. And what GPT-3 really is, like, this is a very oversimplification, but it's basically an extremely fancy autocomplete that's just like powered by like a huge neural network that has access, or like the AI model has been trained on basically every piece of public text that's ever been written. So it has like literally terabytes of like text data that the models have been trained on. And there's some like really funny stuff you can get it to do too. Like they have really good understanding of humor as well. I've seen some interactions where people kind of program them as like customer support bots, but like super sarcastic and kind of like trolly. And just like some of the output that stuff could come up with is honestly like mind-boggling. So that's really what I think I saw some like articles and like examples of like things that people had gotten it to do, and that's kind of like what inspired me to like tinker around with it. And then I tried to come up with like a little bit more of a specific theme, and then centered on this.
Awesome, thanks.
Marcos, did you have a question?
Sorry, I didn't realize that my mic was unmuted. I kind of did. It was kind of along the lines of what Jesse asked. But yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, did you like what the data looked like that you had to seed in to build your avatars?
Honestly, like very minimal. Like I think like the starting prompts for each one of them, because like I said, I didn't want to spend like too much time on that without having like the rest of my site functionality working. So I think at most I have like 2 sentences describing how I want the model to act. And like most of the output that I got was like surprisingly like pretty good and profound. Like the one where Aldous Huxley was just going into like early memories from his childhood and like his growing up with his family and everything. And that was literally just for me saying like, you know, this is a conversation with Aldous Huxley, and then, you know, like a couple more descriptive words. So yeah, this model is like very, very impressive. Definitely encourage anyone who's interested to kind of like play around with it. And if you have any questions, like if you do want to apply for an API key and just want like a little, you know, info on like how to get started or whatever, I'm more than happy to help.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thanks so much, Andrew. Great work again. All right, and then we had, I think Adam was ready to go. And then if anyone else is ready after Adam, please step up. All right, take it away, Adam.
Okay. All right, this here is my app called Adopt Don't Shop. It's basically a pet adoption site run off of an API called the Rescue Group API. Basically, it's a database where any shelter in America can post information about their animals to it. And you can find animals, any animal, like a wider range of animals up for adoption, and even like search near you or search based off of different information. So that was the sign up page. It's for a different site. Sign up. And it takes you back to the home screen, and for whatever reason it didn't log in. All right, so once you log in, you get this bookmarks page, which comes into play later. But basically, to search up animals, you can use this sidebar. Right now, it just shows kind of a random assortment of different animals. If you click on one, this is their page, got a bunch of basic information about them. Since it's each individual rescue or shelter inputs their own information, it was kind of hard to know like what information each dog is going to have. Basically, they all have different information about them. So that was kind of a challenge. And so sometimes I have these blank spaces here, but I tried to get rid of them as much as possible. Also, for whatever reason, the description tags has this weird HTML syntax, but for the most part, they usually don't have too much. So yeah, so you can look at this. If you want to actually like adopt the animal, you could follow this link here, and that would take you to the actual shelter's website. You can also bookmark them, or I used another API called the dog API, which has a lot of information about different dog breeds. So for example, if you were interested in this dog but wanted to know a little bit more about them, you can go over here to the sidebar under breed info and click that dog's breed. And this is just like a random picture of this type of breed, but it shows you different information about them, such as that it was bred for hunting bears, I guess. That's pretty interesting. How long it usually lives for, what kind of behavior it has, and the typical height and weight range of that dog. So if you wanted to search up more specifically, like in your area or some other area, you could input a zip code here. Hit submit and then click on dogs again. And then it shows you what postal code you're looking around. And so these are all dogs that are within, I think, a 25-mile radius of Lisle, Illinois. So these are all dogs near me. Click on one. And yeah, it shows this information for the website. So if you bookmark some animals, you can go over here to the bookmark page and they all show up here. So you can save them and go back and look at them for later. I just realized right before presenting that I forgot to actually add a delete button. So that would don't really be down here at the bottom right corner. So something I'll definitely be adding in. But yeah, that's basically this site. They have a lot of different animals. Some of these aren't actually, they don't actually like have currently, but technically they would support it. Like I don't think they have any cows for adoption right now, but they do have donkeys, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Although usually these kind of like more obscure animals, they don't have too much information about. So, but yeah, that's my website.
Definitely cool, Adam. Thanks so much for presenting. Are you a pet owner yourself?
Yes, actually, I just got a dog a couple months ago.
Oh, cool. Nice. All right. Awesome. Thanks for presenting. It's kind of cool. You could kind of see all the animals up for adoption in that drop down for that you dropped the other animals, I think, drop down. Yeah, I had no idea what a degus was. I actually looked it up. It's like a small rodent looking thing. A lot of animals out there. But cool. Looks like, yeah, we could adopt a few of them. That's really cool. So yeah, definitely nice to adopt animals out there. What was the most difficult part during your development for this project?
I would definitely say the most difficult part was the particular API I was working with the rescue group API. I'm not sure why, but the docs were really obscure for the most part. Like they were really hard to find in the first place. Shout out to Andrew Tran for helping me out with that actually. But yeah, I just felt like it wasn't a very well organized API. And like I said, like between the different animals, there's a lot of information missing, or maybe it has a lot, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, I would say for the most part, it was difficult to work with. Also, over here in the sidebar, I definitely have plans to add more ways to search for the different animals. But you have to pass in the information in a JSON body. And for whatever reason, you actually tried to help me out with this once, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't work all the time. Like I can get it to work for the postal code, but I can't get it really to work for like an animal name specifically. So yeah, it was a little difficult to work with.
Gotcha. Yeah, APIs can be tough, especially if they don't have great documentation or it's hard to poorly designed. But cool, glad you got it working. Yeah, really nice site here. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Adam?
I think that this is a really good idea. Like we just adopted a dog in the last month, and it's definitely super complicated because there's so many animal shelters all around you and you don't even know where to look. So an idea like this is a really good idea. So good job, Adam.
Cool, thank you.
Nice. All right, cool. Any final comments for Adam?
Just that we'll see you in our doggy pile thing to talk more about this stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. Good collaboration there. All right, cool. Thanks so much, Adam, for showing off your pet adoption site there. All right, so let's keep it going. Anyone else ready to present this morning?
I can go next.
All right, cool. So Jaya, take it away.
So mine is really basic compared to everyone else. So my website is a COVID-19 tracker. So let's say we're gonna sign up. So this is an API that I use to download the stats of the COVID-19. So the worldwide is all the stats of all the countries combined all together. So this is the population of the world right now, the total number of cases, the number of people that has recovered, and the number of people that have died so far, and whatnot. And then we can go to Australia, and this is for today. Apparently they have, I don't know, 38,000 cases, 0 recovered, and 30 dead. And then we can go to China, and China have this amount of cases. And US apparently doesn't have any cases today. So I'm not really sure if this is really reliable, but this is what's showing for now. And on the side is the number of cases based on the country. So let's say Afghanistan, it has total number of cases 178,000. So this is the number right here. It's just the table. And Albania have like 275,000. So I'm just making a table of all the number of cases. And then for the crowd functionality, I have a discussion board right now. So a user can say maybe CDC guidelines. Masks is no longer mandatory in public places. So the user can add a command, and they can delete a command over here. So that goes over here. And then the other API that I used is over here to search for vaccination clinics based on the state. So these are all the vaccination clinics in the whole of America. So let's say if I look for clinics in New Hampshire, and so these are the places in New Hampshire that offers vaccinations. So one is Harbor Care Health and Wellness Center. So this is the address, and this is the type of vaccine that's offered. So Moderna, and Janssen, I think that's J&J. So if you look for Massachusetts, it has Moderna, Pfizer, Janssen. So yeah, this is basically it. So this is one API that I used, and this is the other API that I used, and this is the CRUD functionality that I use for that.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Yeah. COVID definitely a topical issue for these days that we live in. So could you mention the APIs you used for this? So there's some COVID.
So one is the this is the API DJS
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
How easy was that to work with? Was it pretty straightforward, or was it kind of difficult?
So this was pretty straightforward because it has all this, the documentation is kind of easy. The other one that was kind of like struggling was the other, like on the other API, Live Vaccination Finder. This is the second API that I use, and its API is a little bit different the way it's structured. So it was a little bit harder for me to implement, and it took a longer time for me to implement this API compared to the other one. So it has all this, options and whatnot, but compared to that, the other API was easier because it was more straightforward, and the kind of API that we have been using internally for our internal APIs.
Okay, cool. And then did you, and you said for CRUDing you had the posts. Do you have a second CRUD resource there?
Oh, no, I don't have the second one. So I have to
Okay, but okay, that's fine. All right, cool. But yeah, good to kind of see COVID data. One thing I'd like to request, again, obviously personal projects never need to be over, but you know, charting, definitely a cool way to show data. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of you know, cool charting libraries out there. If you're motivated to kind of add on to this, I think charting would be kind of cool to see. To present the data there. All right, cool. Thanks, Sanjaya, for presenting. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Sanjaya?
Sanjaya, I thought it was a really good site. I just one of the things I saw maybe for another idea for CRUDing is maybe a comments to the post that might help with just looking at that if you wanted to continue your personal project. But yeah, I thought it was really done, well done.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions or comments for Sanjaya? All right, cool. Well done, Sanjaya. Thanks for presenting today.
Thank you.
Anyone else ready to present today? Definitely love seeing your guys' projects, so keep them coming if anyone's out there. Okay, we do have one more presentation. Unfortunately, Grant could not be here today, but he did us, he was fortunate enough to create a recording for us. So if you guys don't mind watching a quick recording, this should be our last presentation this morning. We'll get you a group project soon enough. But let's see if we get this to work. Let me know if the audio or video is kind of messed up, but I think Grant's project is called Trove. I don't know too much about it, but let's find out together. So I'm gonna play this. Let me know if the audio doesn't work again.
This is my personal project. It is a website for photo collages. You can use an API to search for generic photos. Eventually, I'd like to have it where you can upload your own, but through an unfortunate series of events, my personal.
Okay, sorry, is the audio audible?
It's pretty hard to hear.
It's low,
Yeah,
but I
it-
can make it out.
Let me try
Yeah.
to reshare, sorry. I think I could share with audio, hopefully. Let's see, share, advanced sharing options. That's not it. Share sound. Okay, hope this is yeah, the volume in the video is low to start with, but let's see if this works. I'll max out my volume as much as I can. All right.
Welcome to Trove. This is my personal project. It is a website for making photo collages, and you can use an API to search for generic photos. Eventually, I'd like to have it to where you can upload your own, but through an unfortunate series of events, my personal project got deleted the first time around, and so this is time number 2. So bear with me here. I made this video in Adobe After Effects. The background gradients are from a library called Granum, and you can put in different colors and it'll kind of help you with the transition process. The moving ball, I used CSS animations and the WebKit keyframes. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so you can sign up. So we'll start with Brant D. Simmons at Gmail. Some very advanced password. All right.
So we're gonna log in. Same info.
Log in. All right, so at the account information, it'll display your email and your password. And if you want to change the email, because I misspelled it, I put Brant instead of Grant. So now I want to put Grant. All right, so we'll hit change there. Oh yeah, I forgot. I redirect you to the collages page, because I don't know, like if you ever made it into a website, you want to like press the product, but I guess for this demonstration, you'd want it to direct to account. So we'll go back to account. Now we got Grant D. Simmons there. As far as at the collage page, so this is where, where the magic happens. It's not the most exciting page, but unfortunately, you had to do what I could to get it done. So you get to choose from a few different collages. There's a 2x2. You could do this any number. Eventually, I could make it 10 by 10 or whatever size you'd like to. Photo mosaic, that'll come with the uploading photos. The density collage is just the one that I'm most proud of. It's something I've been working on now for a couple months. And yeah, it uses open computer vision and pill. So we'll do a search that I know works. So let's do dogs. All right, sweet. So it's gonna send it in an email. It takes a while, so it has to go to Pexel to get the generic photos for dogs, and then it has to go to background removal .bg, I think, which is the other API I used, and remove all the backgrounds. And then it'll send me an email in order to receive the actual collage. While we're waiting on the email to be sent and for the collage to be generated, I'll kind of run through some of my code just because this is something I've been working on for a long time. So yeah, like I said, it uses OpenCV and pill. Basically, it takes the image and it extracts like the information about it, and then it will rotate the image and paste it onto the collage image, and then keep doing that and separating the images by a certain amount, and determining like where they're at on the page. And then at the end, it'll basically create like a circular collage, like fairly densely packed. And yeah, you can do like several hundred images or even thousands. It just takes quite a bit of time once you get to too large of a number. So now we've received the image from my trove collages at gmail.com. It's actually surprisingly easy to set up email with Django, and so I figured that was easier because with this number of images, it's probably only going to take a minute or two, but if you did like several hundred, it could take 15 minutes, 30 minutes or so. So I don't have that many free images, so I only did like 30 or 40. But yeah, here's basically, here's basically what you're gonna get. You got all these different dogs that we searched from Pexel and then cut out the backgrounds and then creates this really dense collage. Kind of hard to visualize here, like what the potential of this is. But I'll show you an example real quick of like what you can do once it's cleaned up a little bit and you're using like a lot of images. So here's an example of a much larger collage. This is one I did with old family photos. This is almost 1,000 photos or 750 or something like that. So this took, like an hour, but after I cleaned the edges up, which, hopefully I could do automatically in the future, you can see you get a pretty cool product and something that I think people would actually be interested. So maybe I'll make this into business someday or something, but even if not, this is a type of collage that I really enjoy, and you can put it on a tabletop or like a circular tabletop and just enjoy it for years. Thanks for listening to my personal project. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I apologize for not being able to present it in the present. I have a family emergency that I'm having to drive back for, but yeah, I think it turned out. This type of website, the style is called glassmorphism. I thought it was just kind of a cool, interesting look. And yeah, these cards are just like transparent with a drop shadow on them, so nothing too fancy, but I think it looks pretty cool. The logo, I made this just kind of a name I came up with, but yeah, I think I'll use it in the future, so thanks again.
All right, guys, that was Grant's project. That was really cool. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here because I had a lot of questions for him in terms of that. Was amazing to kind of see that collage. I don't know how much image processing or relevant work was required, but definitely cool product there. So thanks.
Hey, Ankur, can you hear me by chance?
Oh, Grant is here. There we
Yeah,
go.
sorry, I'm on my phone. But yeah, I can answer any questions that you guys might have.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you in our audience, but no, we just saw your video. It was amazing. So if I don't know if anyone has questions, but I have plenty of questions. How much time did that take? And yeah, would you like, how much image processing knowledge do you need to know for doing that?
Well, it took me a long time, obviously, just because of trial and error. But the open computer vision stuff, there's a lot of documentation and like tutorials on it. So, I mean, I don't think you have to have that much previous knowledge. I mean, I didn't start coding before this class, so, I guess I was able to figure it out, so it can't be too hard. But yeah, really, probably the only part that was like not program related is just like the math, in order to like get it to go the correct distances and like understanding circles and stuff. Now if you were just doing a square sum, you might not need quite as much, but yeah, it wasn't terribly hard. It just took like a lot of trial and error to figure out the correct spacing and congestion and like how far apart pictures should be.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know you said you're on your phone, but a lot of people have great comments for you in the Zoom chat. Really amazed, and I'm equally there too.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
Looked really great. So it seems like you put a lot of work into it. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Grant?
Yes. How did you do your background?
So it's if you just look at CSS animations, it's called WebKit keyframes, and basically you can just put in like a bunch of different positions, and then have it like go from one position to the next position, and then it just kind of repeats over and over again. It's not terribly complicated. I can send it to you when I get a chance.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question from me, Grant. So those images that had the backgrounds cropped out, is that what the API or whatever magic processor is doing, or is that like how's that handled?
Yeah, so when you type in the search, it goes to Pexel, which is just like a photo website that you can just get photos from, and so it'll take a bunch of dog photos, and then those photos get sent to removal.bg, or background removal. I forgot what the name was, but basically it'll take the backgrounds off of those by just selecting the subject, which is the other API. And then what my image processing thing is doing is it's basically just taking the photos, identifying like which side of the photo is up, rotating it around, and pasting it on a collage, just like over and over again. So yeah, does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah, I just looked up. I think it's remove.bg. So kind of cool API there.
Yeah, honestly, Pexel was crazy easy to set up. Remove was not terrible, but the hardest part of that was actually getting a hold of them, because they don't like give you an automatic key. You have to like contact them and stuff, and so that took forever, but they finally got back with me.
Gotcha. Sorry, you mentioned Pexels. Is that Pexels?
Yeah, without the S. I think it's just Pexel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just curious, really into images. All right, thanks. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for Grant?
It's crazy, Grant. I used the remove background, and I was literally just doing that for our logo yesterday. And I seen that they had an API tab, and I was like, what would be the use case for an API like that does this? And then you showed me today, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think most people use it for like products and stuff, like taking product photos, and then they get their backgrounds removed, and you can just like automatically put on other backgrounds. So I think that's like the main usage, but this is what I did it for.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know you mentioned in your video that you might turn that into a business. I could see a lot of people wanting to create collages really easily. So definitely pursue this if you got time. But that was really cool. Great work there, Grant. Thanks for joining us remotely there. All right, cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate your work there and making the recording for us. So definitely above and beyond there. All right, cool. So with that said, I think we're done with presentations today. Anyone else? Sorry, I don't want to leave anyone out. So last call for personal project presentations this morning. Okay. With that said, obviously you guys have group projects that you guys are working on. We're going to do our demo day today at Stand Down. So let's say Stand Down will be at 4:30 Central. Hopefully everyone can present something again. low pressure. We're not judging you. We just want to kind of see your progress. And yeah, we'll go from there. So breakout rooms are just open now. Reach out if you have any technical questions or design questions. We're here to help you. And yeah, we'll see you guys at stand down then. Thanks, guys.
Very well. Let me pull up.
All right, we have Nathan.
That should be live.
Yep. Yep, we can see it. Yeah, we have Nathan presenting his personal project. Yeah, let's check out WorkBite.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So my project is WorkBite. And while it might not be as fancy as some of you guys' apps that had like 5-in-1, I kind of like it. I think it's pretty niche and I'm happy to show it off. So basically, if you're familiar with what digital nomads are, I wanted to make a little app where digital nomads can find rentable workspaces or cafes that they can work and ideally like connect with other peers that do the same thing and find good co-working places. So the first thing I'll show you is authentication. Oops, sorry. And you'll notice that when I log in, my back end, oh, my server has to wake up. I think my back end went into idle mode. So the backend issues a JSON web token for authentication. So I'm now authenticated as myself. If I were to reversely log out, you see it goes away and I can log back in. I also will switch to sign up for anybody that wants to sign up as a new user. So anyway, log back in. All right. Get my cool web token. So if I were to like to leave the page, refresh, whatever, come back, it would just automatically authenticate me back in because it's looking for my user ID and the web token. So yeah, this is WorkBite, and I'll go to my friends list. So something interesting, I actually posted this on Reddit a few weeks ago, and these two guys popped up. So they actually joined here and added some places, but this is the friends list. So if I were to click on anybody here, then it brings me to the places that they shared. So like this guy is from Redondo Beach. He's sharing a couple places he likes to work out of. Coffee Cartel, he's got the Fire Food badge. Co-working office, he's got the office badge and another coffee place. I got the Google Maps API in here. So if you click there, it pops up a little modal where you can just see where it's at. Sorry about that. So if I were to go to my places, it kind of looks the same thing, but these are all the places I added. Additional to the open with Google, you have the edit and delete. So if I were to edit, I can pop up. I like the WeWork space in Chicago. That's kind of what inspired me to start this project is the Quebec Platoon WeWork space. I thought it was pretty cool. I never worked in a co-working area. Lots of people from around the world were there getting their work done. So I can edit it. You can see my edits are saved. Same if I want to go to delete it, just a little precaution here and make sure you want to delete it. So I'm not going to because I want to keep it there. And let's see what else. I'll show you how to add a place. So I got one pulled up here. I'm in California and I haven't been here, but it looks nice. A co-working space called Blank Spaces down here in Santa Monica. Put in the address. I'll select the badge. It's an office, so I'll put that. And then I do have a image, working image upload. Gives me a little preview. That's what it's going to look like. And why can't I add the place? Well, that's a new feature. It's not a bug. It's just a feature. All right, that's a little embarrassing. Not sure why that's not working right now. I'll take care of it later. But if I were to add it, it would go back here into my places and it will pop up like all of these. The last part is the search places. And this is where right now it just shows all the places that anybody's added here. I think let's see if I can find some new badges. I think one of my friends, yeah, they added the Earth Cafe, which has an outdoors area. So there's an outdoors badge. This is also a nice feature. If you were to search your zip code, it doesn't work. I didn't get that wired up yet. It was actually pretty difficult to make it look through all the data. I did have an API in here using the Google Places API that took in a lot of cafes from around the world. But the issue I got there is when I would search for the ones I wanted, like McDonald's would pop up or every Starbucks location, because my category is kind of niche. But I do have these tiles that you can filter if you wanted just an office space, if you had a meeting coming up, or you only wanted to work outdoors, you could filter by outdoors and type Los Angeles. That's the idea of the project. That was the goal. Yeah, besides that, if anyone has a good feedback for me on how I can restructure the friends list, because it's actually a lot more difficult to get it all together than I thought. I would love that. Again, my places, add a place. Oh, the images. Those are actually going to an S3 bucket on AWS. So the way I have that set up is I'm using like a UUID package. So when you upload the image, it gets assigned a unique ID. The unique ID actually goes to the database, and then it just kind of prefixes the URL on there. So it knows to go to AWS and pull that unique ID, and it's just a public facing image. Yeah, this is, so the front end was deployed on Firebase. My back end is on Heroku, and these are the logs in the console for the back end. So you can see when I edited that one, or not one of these. Oh, this is just displaying all the places when I loaded the search places, it pulls them all up here. And yeah, I believe that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
I had a question. Can you go back to your login page? Yeah, so I thought I saw something where like you could not click on login or something when certain factors. Do you know what I'm saying? Your icon was grayed out.
Oh, yeah, I have a validation on the front end. So if it detects less than 5 characters, it won't let me click login.
Okay, but it doesn't have to be the correct password, that right? So you wrote ZZZZZZZ, the button will.
Oh no, yeah. If I put in a fake password, it's not going to log
Okay,
me.
cool. Yeah, I just wanted to verify. So there, validating accounts, there are some security issues that we need to keep in mind. So like one common mistake that I guess developers make is if I enter in an email and password, you want to keep your error messages generic usually. So you don't want to say invalid password. Basically, you don't want to verify that you have an actual login. Does that make sense? So if I type in a login, you shouldn't tell the user, hey, that's a correct login, but your password's incorrect.
I see. So just generic incorrect login.
Sometimes, I mean, you do want to kind of clue them in, like, hey, but usually you will see for most sites will say invalid email and password combination. So they're not validating that the email actually exists. They're saying the combination doesn't exist, meaning you might not have a valid email either.
Again, yeah.
I'm sorry, I gotta add some of my 2 thoughts here. I don't think that's actually good advice. That's really common advice, but I think that's actually an anti-pattern. If you do that, it's going to really frustrate your users when they forget their username or their password, and it actually doesn't do anything to stop hackers. If I want to know if a particular account logs in your system, I'm going to try registering that account. I'm not going to try to log in as it. That's going to tell me exactly what I want to know.
Okay. Yeah, right now it's not that smart to know which accounts have been created or not. There's actually no email validation here. If I put an email and logged up, it's not actually going to send the confirmation right now.
Gotcha. No, I was just curious why it was grayed out, but I understand you're just looking for minimum 5 characters. All right, cool. That was my only question there. All right, and just to kind of verify, so which APIs do you use here? You use Google Places, I know you mentioned.
Yeah, so I'm using the Google Place. No, well, I did use Google Places. I took that out because it wasn't really meeting my needs. Here, I'll show you the 2. What did I do? I don't even remember what my login was. So the first one is just the Google Maps API that's on the Places. And then the second one is kind of like a background worker. It's the Google Coordinates to Address API. So if I were to take one of these here, at least I know when you add a place, it's going to geolocate the coordinates from the address so that I can find it on the map. They're 2 separate APIs. The third I was using was the Google Places, but I had to take it out because it was filling all these with, Starbucks, McDonald's, and just nothing that really met my criteria.
Gotcha. Cool. What was your favorite part about working on this project?
My favorite part, I would say working with AWS. That was the last part I did, was getting the images to upload, and that was probably the biggest learning curve for me.
Gotcha. And last question for you. I feel like I'm asking a lot of questions. You mentioned that you had like 2 random people like post some stuff.
Oh yeah. I posted this on Reddit a while back just so I can get some users and test things out. And these 2 guys showed up: Digital Nomad 44 and Travel Life.
Awesome. Cool. Might be trending soon.
Alexandria and Los Angeles. Interesting. Yeah, pretty cool. This is the GitHub. This is all the tech that I used for it. Roadmap and 1 bug. If anybody's interested, this is what it was built with.
Nice. Thanks so much, Nathan. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Nathan?
Oh, I have a question on your AWS. So what was the best route for you to start learning your learning curve on that one?
Honestly, I went straight into the NPM docs. I used the package called Multer and Multer S3. And I just used the docs. I looked at their sample usage and made it fit. It took me a couple days to get it to actually work, but that's exactly how I did it.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, sure thing. I recommend this package if it's a Node package, by the way. It's not a Django package, sorry. My deployed backend is Node and Express.
All right. Thanks so much, Nathan. Nice get some extra co-working spaces around us. All right. Anyone else ready to present this morning? All right. All right. No one else ready to present. So again, this week, or I guess something. And Porphy, whenever you are ready.
Thank you. Share my screen. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I feel like I haven't seen some of you guys in a while, so good to see everyone here. Today, we're going to see my personal project. I want to preface it a little bit, like, as people who are programming, sometimes you need to take a break. You know, stop, pause, recharge. And I know we've all been in a situation where we have to choose. Do I want to look at cute puppy pictures on the internet? Or maybe I want to look at hilarious jokes on the internet? Well, I've got news for you. You don't have to choose anymore, because I present Doe's Joke, release 0. With Doe's Joke, you can come to one place and get your programmer humor, as well as pictures of ridiculously cute Shibas whenever you want. Now, you might be wondering why Shibas. Well, Shibas have been bringing people joy for since 7000 BC. That's longer than even donuts, which were created in the 1800s, and bagels in the 1600s. So, suck on that. Great. Now, what can you do with Doe's Joke? Basically, if you're not a subscribed member, all you can really do is look at this homepage and request new jokes and new adorable dogs. And there's no limit to how many of these you can see, guys. You can be here all day looking at cute Shibas and reading hilarious jokes like, "Hey baby, I wish your name was asynchronous, so you'd give me a call back." Or, why do they call it a hyperterminal? Too much Java. And it's really fun when the pictures line up with the joke perfectly. Why did the database administrator leave his wife? She had one too many relationships. This one's pretty good. Now this is release 0. There's more features we want to add, like a chart for people who get a perfect match picture where they can save the picture and the joke. Also, a way to share it with your friends. But for now, let's say you just want to be able to remember these jokes and be able to remember these pictures and maybe come back to them later and laugh again and awe again. Well, all you have to do is sign up. Let's say, back. Let's say, once you sign up, it'll take you straight to the login page where you put in your credentials again. And now you're all logged in. It takes you right back to the home page, but now you have the options to add doggos and add jokes to your own little database. So let's add a couple. Let's say we'll add this dog and this joke. Get a new pair. This cute dog too. This joke's pretty good. Want to remember it for later. But another pair. I just like this dog, not really the joke. And this one, that's a great joke right there. I'll keep that joke. You come back later, you want to go look at your favorites. You just click up here into my favorites. You can look at your favorite dogs. And let's say you're like, I don't really like this dog anymore. You just click this X. You get rid of that dog. No sweat, no confusion. All right, now let's say you log out. Then suddenly your menu changes again, and you only have access to the basic functionality of the site again. And that's a Doge joke, release 0. I had a lot of fun with the styling, more fun than I thought. I know it's a simple, but I was playing with a CSS animation at the time. And there's so much you can do now that I didn't even know about. Figuring out the rest of the program was tough, but I'm glad I pushed through. And I'm pretty proud of this. I know it's a silly little app, but I'm pretty happy with it.
All right, Porfi, thanks so much for demoing your personal project. Definitely an applicable site, so maybe you can link it to, if you can get this online or share it somehow. I'm sure, again, a lot of people can use a break right now. All of you guys have been putting in long hours and pushing your guys' final presentations, so definitely nice to see these jokes. I will admit, I'm enjoying these jokes more than I would have thought. What API did you use to get these programmer jokes, Porfi?
The jokes API. It's a super no frills API. Just make the call directly to the page, and there's even options for you to do flags for like I flagged it just for programming, to cater to the audience. But they have all kinds of jokes, and you can even submit jokes if you go to the API.
Gotcha, that's cool. Like you did filter just for programming from the jokes API. That's cool. But yeah, some good programming humor there. All right, does anyone have any questions for Porfi? All right, I have a question, Porfi. What was the most challenging part as you developed this project?
Understanding the routing between Django and React was a lot. Like Django is pretty easy to set up, but then just making sure everything is just right so that they can talk. Like if you mess up the positioning of one thing out of like 100, your API just won't talk, and unless you set up your debugger like you showed us to, it's really tough to trace back where the issue is coming from. So that was a bit of a pain. And then authorization, for some reason, gave me a hard time trying to get that all figured out. But once I got it in line, I was good to go. It was just stuff on the Django side that I forgot to put a return when I did my create method. So stuff like that. It's just making sure everything's pointing at the right place. It's a lot to keep track of.
Gotcha. Yeah, understandable. Authorization, I've had so many headaches with that. It is kind of finicky, but glad you got it working. Great site here. Do we have any Shiba owners in the audience? No one owns a Shiba?
No, but I would like to one day.
All right, graduation present.
I've got a Shiba.
Gotcha. What's your Shiba's name?
Rusty. It
Rusty.
perfectly matches the color.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Great site here. Thanks for showing off, Porfi. Any last comments for Porfi before we move on? All right, well done, Porfi. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, let's keep it going. We got a couple more presenters, I think. Who's left to go here? Amy, are you ready to present?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thought we had one more person, but all right, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay. Okay. All right, mine, I kind of changed directions about 3 or 4 different times. So this is sort of a compilation of a few things, and it's ArtPod. The intention originally was to have a place that I could get things like art fairs and art shows and just different contests and stuff, and have it in one database where you could look up by place and dates, things like that. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything that would work and that was also free. So I'm going to next work on some web scraping, learn a little bit more about that to put some more information in here. Anyway, what I do have, okay, this is my home page. Go ahead and log out so I can show it can be logged in. Okay. Before. Oh, no, it's not going to work again. Okay, well, I had problems earlier because I had putting things together. I guess I kind of doubled up on commands that kind of contradicted each other. So I'm not sure if that is still an issue, but let me go ahead and see if I can get logged in with an account I already have set up. Okay. My home page, there's art search, and I do need a little more styling work on this page, definitely. I liked this one. I have two kind of similar. I like this because you could search, there's Art Institute of Chicago. I thought I'd do that since for all of you that are in Chicago, there's tons of different museums that are online. And this you could search by anything. It'll search only for pictures that are, what is it called, in the public domain, so that you can see the photos. Excuse me, and I do want to change it, add something so that photos can be saved easier. Go ahead and put cats, since cats is there, and it'll look it up for you. And I was having problems with getting the links to work for some reason. That I do need to fix. I do like, I have over here a new search, and it's also searching for the latest titles that have to do with art. I like this one, how it looks better, but it doesn't have the search option, which I'd like to add. So once I kind of combine those two, that'll be a perfect, that'll be a perfect display. Okay, and the other thing that I do have right now is oops. Sorry, I've lost my page. Okay. Here's my forum, and I do want to definitely to add uploading photos and pictures of, and this is just for things like people can post if they're painting, they can post works in progress or just anything related. Okay. And then you can, I just have two topics right now, but those have to be added by the administrator. Okay, and then once you have that, you can edit it if you want. Okay, it's just pretty basic right now, but once I get photos and get some of the other features I want to do right away, that will help it out a lot. Okay, and I think that is about it. Oops, I didn't do anything. Okay, back to the home page. Oh, and it does have a back button too.
All right, cool. I love that art. So that art piece, does anyone know the name of it? Is it Giant Wave or Giant Tsunami or something?
This one's called Under the Wave.
Under the Wave. Yeah, I really like that artwork. All right, cool. Amy, thanks so much for showing off your personal project. What is something that you learned kind of a lot more by going through the personal projects? Anything specific that you were kind of rusty with that you were like, all right, definitely understand it better now that you've done this whole project?
Every single part of everything that I learned a huge amount. Like, first of all, how not to plan things, or how, well, I didn't plan at all. That was the problem starting out, but we learned a lot about that. I learned everything about everything.
Wait, cool. Yeah, hopefully it was a good experience for you. Always hoping that personal projects help students grasp a lot of the material. So well done here. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Amy? All right, I have one question. Amy, do you have a favorite artist or art piece that you can mention? Something famous, so I've heard of it because I haven't heard of much.
Yeah, my favorite, I guess, current modern artist is named I just forgot her last name. Ali Kavanaugh, and she paints. Actually, most of her paintings end up being her daughter. They're just really beautiful watercolors that she does. and she's a really good person.
Gotcha. Is it ALI?
Yeah.
With a C. Okay, I think I found her website. Very cool. Thanks for that mention. But yeah, cool looking website. Nice, nice artwork there. Well done. Thanks for sharing with the class here.
Thank you.
All right. I think we have one more presentation. So if we can. All right, so I think Jidan had her presentation, but I think we added one more feature to it. So I think we wanted to see that. So Jidan, you could take it away.
Okay.
Amy, are you able to give up the screen share?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Gina.
Cool.
Right.
Is everybody be able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I have done my demo before. So my website is called Mama Donation. So pretty much the purpose of it is for users to be able to donate to animals and animal facilities for specific items like Joey's vaccination, $35, and you can add that to your cart, or Joey's surgery or medicine, and then you can like add and delete from your cart and place order. Sorry about my kid, she's next to me. Yeah, I just want to show you, and here it, sorry about that. So this is the first API that can show you random funny cat pictures. And then, yeah, some of them are pretty silly. Like, yeah, so, and then, oh yeah, I just want to show you the second API I added. So, so this part I intended to help people to find their missing cat. So, you know, sometimes it has happened to me before, like my cat just, I accidentally left the backyard door open, and then the cat just decided that he wants to take off and walk around and have a nice walk in the neighborhood. And I bet it's a great time for my cat, but it definitely makes me very nervous. So so this app here is pretty much if a person has a missing cat, then he could make a form and upload a picture and the description of his cat. And then for other users, if you happen to be in the neighborhood and see the cat, you can just click on the map here. If I see a cat here in this interaction, I'll click here. And if you click again, it says cat spotted, and it will show you the time that you did the click. And other users could do different clicks on the street, and then each one of them will show the time that you did the click. So I think that, you know, this will be probably helpful for people to, if they happen to be looking for their pet. So yeah, and you can zoom in and zoom out and see where exactly that cat is spotted. And then you can zoom out like that. And you can close the window. Yeah, that's it. This is just the API I want to show you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Jidan. Sounds like you're being called over there, but yeah, nice to have a cat locator there. Love the icons there. All right, so thanks so much, Jidan. We have one more video presentation. So Brian could not be here, but he, I believe, recorded a video for us, which is much appreciated. So we'll present that, and that should be our last presentation for for the stand down. All right, so let me share my screen. Hopefully this all works well. Share screen. Can you guys see the screen? Assuming yes. All right, well, let's get this playing.
The other part of birds is
Encore, I just see you. So
lists of birds for different
Oh, is it?
locations, and then also different birds for different locations. For you to keep track of them. You do not need to use your ID.
Sorry, was I sharing the wrong screen?
No, I saw his video. It was just like quiet.
Okay. All right. You guys can see welcome to birds. Okay, cool. Yeah, the audio might be a little low. I'll try to blast as much as I can, but is there a volume on here? Oh, there we go. I don't know if it's gonna be too loud now. We'll find out.
What's up, my friend Brian Klubal here, and this video is a presentation about my final project for Code Platoon. The application that I made for my final is called Birds with a Z. I did that because a couple weeks ago we had a running joke in one of the groups talking about how a lot of times we had seen a number of folks that would just kind of take and throwing a Z at the end of a word and calling it a title, and I couldn't help but do it for my own project. Birds is intended to do two different things. One, it pulls data from an API called eBird, or eBird's API, of different bird sightings within an area, and it provides back latitudes and longitudes as part of the data that it provides back. It gives lats and longs that I then was able to take and put into another API from Leaflet to put those out onto a map so that you can visually see what was seen and where it was seen in regards to a certain area. The other part of birds is prutting to lists of birds for different locations, and then also different birds within those locations for you to keep track of things. You do not need a user ID and login. User ID and password to access the map. I wanted it to just be able to, anybody to come to the website, pop in, find birds near you, and then see what's going on in their area. Right now, the code is hard-coded to my location here in O'Fallon, Illinois, to my house. And you can see, here's me, and then you can see around the area all the different sightings that eBird has pulled in the last day or so. Not too much action happening around me here in the middle, but you can see once you get more towards St. Louis, obviously a lot more people, a lot more folks, a lot more bird activity with a lot of the state parks. And then you can also see out here, Lake Carlisle is usually a pretty good spot. They've got some really nice state parks and a lot of folks out there. See a couple sightings out there too. But the really benefit of this particular option is I can kind of plan out where I'm going to go, when I'm going to go there, and more importantly, maybe even a little bit about why I'm going to go there. I can look at, say, Forest Park, for example, over in St. Louis, and see what people have logged in there. And maybe I've never seen a clay-colored sparrow before, and I really want to go see one. Well, I know somebody else saw one there, so maybe I just pop out there and I take a day trip with my camera. And I go on a little hike or a walk around on some of the nice trails they have there, looking, specifically trying to find this bird. One failure point, I tried to use, or I was in the process of trying to use Flickr's API to pull pictures and post them into these pop-ups for these different markers within Leaflet. And I just could not, for the life of me, I couldn't get it to cooperate nicely. So continuing goal is to be able to actually have a picture pop up so that you can visually see what a clay-colored sparrow looks like as you're going out there to go look and go see, versus like, oh, I know one was there, let me Google it or look it up, and then, okay, now I know what it is. Being able to do it all from right here within the Birds application. I can either log in or I can sign up for a new account. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with a account that's already there. And if this looks familiar, it should look familiar to all of us because I leaned very, very heavily on what we learned doing the to-do list app to create the CRUD functionality on this. I'll admit we did not get very original with it, but I did have a good time going through and trying to figure out how to incorporate and change up the styling just a little bit. And once you get in here, you can see all the different bird lists. You can see a bunch of the different stuff that I've seen happening here at the house. I've got cardinals, house wrens, cowbirds, woodpeckers, house sparrows. We have a hummingbird couple that has been coming around quite often. And we're super excited. I'm hoping they made their nest. Well, we're hoping they're gonna make their nest right here by the house, but they somewhere within like 3 or 4 houses around us, we have a hummingbird family that's setting up shop for the summer. So that's really, really cool. So hummingbirds, so I add them. Fortunately, to refresh, I gotta go back home and then come back into the list. But there you can see my hummingbird is down in the last 18 today. So I'm out there earlier this morning. And then I can read things if I want to, and then add in new lists as I want to go. So I deleted up the card. I can bring the card back in since it's going to go Google memory, and then make it up. So I had a lot of fun putting this together, although it was very nerve wracking, and also I beat my head against the wall quite a few times with some things, but I could not do this before starting Code Platoon, and would have never been able to think about doing something like this before starting Code Platoon. So very happy for the opportunity, very thankful, and really appreciate y'all's time in watching this video. Thanks. Bye.
All right, we thank Brian for sending that recording. Definitely great to see all of you guys' personal projects. Again, definitely, I really enjoy watching your guys' development and seeing what you guys can do. So hopefully you guys are proud of your work, because you definitely should be. And that is our personal project presentations. Let's stop